So why'd you spill your beans?
Why'd you spill your beans? What a grim movie. Oh, man.
It's about the darkest movie ever. The Lighthouse from 2019. Directed by Robert Eggers, written by him and Max Eggers, stars Robert Pattinson, Willem Dafoe, Valeriia Karaman, 1 hour, 49 minutes, black and white.
And you know what I found strange about this, credits-wise? I didn't notice the actual movie. I was looking at IMDb and online. There's a couple of guys that they replace, you know, that you can see on
the
camera.
old lighthouse keepers.
Yeah. And there's another guy who pops up, who's like an imaginary guy.
Yeah. But none of them spoke.
Yeah, but they're not listed in the credits at all. Because I was wondering who the one guy was.
Did we even really get a look at the two lighthouse men that were leaving faces?
Not
they were
as-
just sort of dark shadows.
But we did, and the one guy for sure. Because he looked familiar. Well, he reminded me of, who's the guy who was Watson in the new Sherlock? I know it wasn't him, but he reminded me
Oh,
of
the
him.
Hobbit guy?
Yeah. Morgan.
Yeah,
Morgan Freeman.
No.
Freeman Morgan? No, Martin
Freeman.
Freeman. He reminded me of him, and I was trying to find, and there's no mention who he is. I couldn't find anything online that says who he is. I mean, he was real. He was an actor. He was in it. Why no credit at all?
It was less than a half a second. He just sort of a flash.
It was more than half a second, and it was more than once. Anyway,
Yeah.
just a weirdness, I thought.
It's odd.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
You like it? It's another 9. I got 3 9s this week.
Yeah, I have to say I liked it. Yes.
I don't know. On a second viewing, I might bump this up to a 10.
Grim movie.
Very.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Smelly. You can almost
Smelly
smell
movie.
You
Yeah,
can almost
really
smell
is.
this movie.
Ephraim Winslow and Thomas Wake are the 2 new lighthouse keepers. They arrive together wordlessly as the foghorn sounds. It's a dark and gloomy place, full of fog and black and white video.
And
Winslow.
basically, that's the whole hour and a half.
And I noticed right off the bat that the aspect ratio looked weird on the screen. Mm-hmm. I thought there was something wrong with the video
did
we
that
had.
on purpose.
But it's
Square.
almost square video rather than 16 by 9 or 4 by 3. I think it said 1.2 to 1.
Like they did back
Almost
in the
square.
good old days.
Claustrophobic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Winslow finds a little mermaid statue stuck inside his mattress.
Set in the 1890s, by the way, too.
Yes.
It's not modern day.
No.
Yeah.
Wake makes a toast to 4 weeks. And Winslow doesn't want to drink the alcohol, but does do the toast with water. He spits it out because it tastes bad. Wake laughs and tells him, hey, the cistern needs to be fixed. Wake then wants to deal with the lighthouse light, and Winslow can do everything else around the house. It's obvious that Wake is in charge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wake is Willem Dafoe, and Pattinson is the other guy, Winslow.
Mm-hmm.
Wake gets naked that night and stares into the light. Winslow uses the opportunity to go down to the water, and he dreams of a mermaid. And this becomes a recurring thing. He goes out at night and looks up, and there's Willem Dafoe standing naked in front of the spotlight. The next morning, Winslow fixes the shingles, cleans the cistern, shovels coal, carries oil up the stairs to the light, and does battle with an angry one-eyed seagull.
Yeah, he does a lot of work on this, a lot of manual labor.
Wake then says he's being slow and needs to pep it up a little. Boredom makes men villains, lad, Wake explains. The only cure is drink, he laughs.
Good thing they've got a lot,
They do.
at least at first.
Winslow asks what happened to the man he replaced, and Wake says he went mad. He tells Wake... No, I wrote that wrong. He tells Winslow it's bad luck to kill a seabird, and so don't fight with him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Seagulls carry the souls of men who have met their maker. Wake takes perverse pleasure in lording it over Winslow. Winslow mentions that he used to be a timberman, and Wake asks why he changed to being a lighthouse man. A wiki, they're called here.
Needed a change.
He claims that he's simply in it for the money. That night, he sees a strange creature up in the lighthouse with Wake. Dun, dun, dun.
Or was it Wake himself?
The next morning, he finds a dead seagull in the cistern. His nemesis, the one-eyed seagull, is there, and Winslow kills it.
Brutally. Man, that's
Yeah. Winslow's planning to leave on the tender tomorrow morning. This is his last night, so he finally drinks with Wake. They argue over Winslow never getting a turn at the light, and they drink a lot. When Winslow wakes up, he sees the mermaid out on the rocks.
You can almost feel that hangover when he wakes up.
Oh, yeah. The tender doesn't come that day after all. Wake says they missed the tender weeks ago, and now they need to start rationing food. What? Where'd the time go?
Yeah, where did the time go? And the moisture got into the supplies, too, and so a lot of the food molded.
Yeah,
molded.
Because it may have been months. Wake says that once the tender didn't come for 7 months. Many of Wake's stories start to change on the second and third telling. He can't get the stories straight. They're both going a little insane, and Wake calls down a long and detailed, almost Shakespearean curse on Winslow. And this curse that he's spitting out, it takes like 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's
quite a monologue.
Yeah, it is.
Winslow then finds a head with only one eye in the lobster pot, and he thinks it's his predecessor.
Well, and you start to wonder about things, especially at this point. I wondered, did he really see that? Did he imagine it? Is he hallucinating these things? Is he really seeing them?
They're drinking a lot.
They're drinking a lot. They're kind of going stir crazy. They're driving each other nuts. And he's how much of this is real?
Yeah.
Don't really know for sure.
And if you were watching closely before, the seagull that kept picking at Winslow only had one eye. Was it carrying this man's soul? Winslow thinks this is the case and that Wake must have murdered him. Winslow breaks into the office to read Wake's logbook, but finds that the old man sleeps with it. They both start drinking a lot more every night. One night, after the two were dancing and then fighting, Winslow says his name is really Tom Howard. Howard spills his beans,
Why'd you spill your beans?
explaining that on a log drive, the real Winslow fell into a log jam and Howard didn't help him. Howard then took his identity, and he's been Winslow ever since.
Trying to make a fresh start, and it apparently didn't work too well.
Yeah.
I think he still realizes that he's still the same person who self-loathes.
Well, I think he hates himself more because he actually murdered the other guy.
Yeah,
he didn't just not help, really.
Yeah. He hated himself, and now he hates himself even more. So there's a lot of guilt going on, too.
Well, we hear Wake's voice haunting Howard repeatedly. Why'd you spill your beans, Tommy? It sounded great in the trailers, too. The next day, Howard/Winslow pulls out the lifeboat to head to the mainland, and Wake destroys it with an axe.
You're not leaving me.
Just a few minutes later, Wake says it was Howard who smashed the boat and chased him with the axe.
Yeah, there's a lot of gaslighting going on there. Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, we've run out of alcohol. That night, they start drinking the kerosene, and they get so drunk they barely notice when the sea breaks in the window. That was some storm. Or maybe it was some kerosene.
Yeah.
Howard eventually gets access to the logbook, and he sees how much the old man has put into it that concerns him. It's bad enough to ruin his career. Wake calls him a
Not
dog.
going to get paid. He's going to recommend that
pay him.
that his pay gets cut. Yeah.
Wake then calls him a dog, and Howard beats him up. He makes Wake crawl like a dog out to a hole near the lighthouse. Wake continues his masterful cursing of Howard the whole time Howard is burying him alive. After Wake is buried, Howard heads inside, where Wake attacks him kind of out of nowhere with a pickaxe. Howard kills him quickly with an axe this time. Howard finally gets to go upstairs to see the light. It opens up, and he screams at what he sees, then falls all the way down the lighthouse stairs. Somehow he manages to crawl outside, and the seagulls eat him alive.
Spoilers.
And they all live happily ever after? Nobody lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoilers.
Spoilers.
Both these guys have...
And then a boat crashes on the shore because nobody's running the lighthouse anymore.
Well, that's for the sequel. That's the sequel.
Yeah.
Lighthouse 2.
Yeah. The crash.
Lighthouse 2. Seagulls Eat You.
Back in the days when lighthouses were vital.
Yeah.
It ain't going to run very long by itself.
No.
Yeah.
Well, the kerosene. They had to fill it every day.
Coal. Coal. The main thing was run by coal. It was steam powered.
I thought that was the horn. It was coal, and the oil was for the lantern. The kerosene was for the light upstairs. Coal was the big foghorn.
Yeah, but the mechanism was the rotating mechanism. That was steam powered coal, I believe.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll go there.
Yeah.
Both these guys have outrageous accents, and the movie almost needed subtitles.
At first.
There's quite a few lines I didn't quite catch.
You get used to it.
Yeah. The real star here, however, is the moody, creepy, claustrophobic black and white lighthouse and cinematography. Some of the shots in this could have been, really good comic book panels.
Mm-hmm.
This would have made a great graphic novel.
Yeah, it would. Yeah.
The setting offers more than enough boredom and isolation to make these two believably go insane. There's sea monsters and mermaids and murderers, but the true monster here is isolation, paranoia, and alcoholism.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Very much worth seeing.
They built that whole thing.
For the movie.
The lighthouse, the buildings, the whole thing. They built it all from. And the lighthouse looks like it's this big stone brick building, and it's all wood. It's coated wood.
Huh.
The whole thing is wood. The
Just a
lighthouse
prop.
itself was Uh-huh. The locals wanted it left there, but they didn't think it would hold up, so they dismantled it when they were done.
Why would the locals want it?
Because it was cool.
Tourists or something? Okay.
Yeah, tourism and
Look, now we got a lighthouse.
Tourism, and it looked cool, and but it wasn't stable enough to last long term. And that's our show. Stop in during the week to the website, horrorguys.com. Check us out on social media, or tune into the full-length audio podcast.
Yes, everything here, our weekly show is done as a full-length, around an hour audio podcast each week.
Where we talk about all the movies. And you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That helps us out. Give some likes and subscribes.
Yep. And horrorguys.com has, of course, all our reviews in writing. If you want to read more, sometimes we'll forget the line here or there. So if you want to read them, check out horrorguys.com.
Yeah.
And I'm Brian.
I'm Kevin.
And we'll see you at the next movie.
See ya.